I think Gina is something that needs to be thought about as transcending the way you can build cars. A complete departure in car design. It's not the idea of cars as we know it. It's the promise of different ways of achieving a result. Yeah, so back in end of the 90s, I'd finished the Z4 project. And then the idea of Gina came up. The project Gina was not my initial idea. It was made by two designers from DesignWorks, John Krieger and Fernando Pardo. And these guys, they sold the idea to Chris Bangle back in the day. A skin of a car that today is steel or aluminum, but to create a surface that actually changes, adapts. What if an entire car is designed with cloth? So basically it changes and adapts to the environment, to air, to movement, to expression. What does that mean for producing and creating cars or finding new form language? That was the essential question around Gina. And so it was probably around 2000 that I was asked to come up with sketches for an exterior for the Gina concept. The interior was designed by Fernando Pardo and I designed the exterior. So it was a kind of like an opportunity to take, let's say, the form language of a Z4 and bring it even further, because now the material actually dictates the shape. We all kind of have our different reasons or our different interpretations of why Gina is important. To Fernando, it probably means one thing. To Chris, it means another thing. To Christine, it probably means another thing. To Sven, another thing. I see it as a chance to kind of create new shapes, but also adhering to certain automotive proportional principles. What does that mean for the dynamic and the beauty of the shape as a proportion of an entire vehicle? You basically design the splines, basically the hard edges that go across the car, and the surface material hangs in between how to drape shapes and create them from a let's say, rigid material. Something flexible like cloth. This allowed us to make a car that has almost human traits, human expressions. We have the headlights, they open, kidneys shapes that actually move so they can change the expression. We had the opening for the central part of the bonnet, and I think most prominently, the door openings. A door without a front door cut. So when it opens, you get these folds that basically are given by nature. Another feature on Gina, what was for me super exciting, was the adjustable rear spoiler. And that gives us an opportunity basically to adjust according to having it with low drag or with more downforce. And on the taillights, we wanted the light to shine through the material. So basically when you see the rear end of Gina, you don't see any taillight graphics. They just shine through the surface. We had a great team. Everyone was pulling together. Obviously, through the mentorship from Chris Bangle, that was basically his brainchild. But it was difficult for me as an exterior guy, because when you design the car, you never see it finished. You have to imagine the car looked like an Eiffel Tower as it was being built, meaning you have the splines in space. You don't really see what happens with the surfaces, you just have the splines. It was very difficult because I never saw the surfaces, what actually happened to the surface. We could only do it like put some material over the splines, look at it, assess it, and then we had to take off the entire material. Obviously you can't weld because of the sparks and have the materials at the same time. So we had to take the material off and then re-weld. I didn't weld, but Sven and Christian welded. And then they would adjust the lines, and then we would put the material on one more time, back and forth, back and forth. Finishing Gina is almost like putting on clothes in the last 5 minutes, because all the sheets were basically made and fitted, pre-fitted. And then everything was finished, and then basically she was dressed in her beautiful silver cloth.